Hey, look, I put on a Giallo shirt to review Giallo. That was a total coincidence. So, Dario Argento's Giallo, one of the guys who is famous for starting or, popularizing the Giallo subgenre of Italy, has made a film called Giallo, which is not really a Giallo as much stylistically as most of his other Giallo films. This one's actually called Giallo because the killer in it is actually yellow. So that's why. Because the word Giallo in Italian means yellow. So, yeah. From what I know, the whole reason that these movies were called Giallos back then was because the mystery novels in Italy that told stories like this had Giallo covers, yellow covers. And so that's, they were known as Giallos. Like if you picked up a yellow covered spine book, it was typically one of these murder mysteries. So you were reading a Giallo, and then these movies were emulating Giallos, but not really this one as much. I mean, this is a detective movie, so technically it is. But it just, I don't know, it doesn't have that, like, the face of the killer is known the entire time. It's not like a mystery on that side of the film, which is interesting. And, I'm going to get into spoilers here, but I really don't have a lot to say about this. As I had said in my review for The Card Player, I showed this to everybody. My notes for this movie were that Adrien Brody was in it, Academy Award-winning Adrien Brody, and that there's an opera again. So he did Phantom of the Opera, and he did opera, and this movie starts with an opera. This guy likes operas. That's it. Now, I had like 20 minutes of the movie left when I wrote that, but at 20 minutes, I had nothing. I was like, okay, Adrien Brody's in this. This movie is so uneventful. This movie's so fucking boring to me. Like, I feel like this stuff happens, sure. There's a killer. He's kidnapping beautiful women. He's torturing them because he's deformed. And he takes pictures of them for his own, sexual fantasies or whatever. Then he murders them. The problem with this movie is that the detective work in this film is completely non-existent and completely uninteresting. Like, there's like no actual detecting in the film at all. At all. And this like performance by Adrien Brody has been phoned in hardcore. He's just like barely there. This movie was made in 2009. This fucking thing is recent. And it had a $14 million budget. And it was filmed in Romania. So $14 million over there would have spread a lot. The film looks really good, like, for a general picture, but it doesn't have any style. There's no Argento style in this film almost at all. Now, I was thinking, because the killer in this looks like Adrien Brody with prosthetic makeup on, I was like, oh, it's going to be revealed that he's the killer. He's going to pull the shit off, and it's going to show that it's him. And while I was correct, he actually does play the killer in this movie and the detective, which is kind of cool. It is not that. It is just him playing two characters in the film. And I was like, almost felt cheated. But I almost have to wonder if that was intentional. It's very good. A very good disguise. Like, honestly, I don't know. Do you guys feel like, the people who have seen this, do you feel like it's super obvious that it's him? Or are you hearing this for the first time and you're like, what? I gotta go back and fucking look at that guy again and see if it's definitely him. And I noticed it, but I don't know how obvious that is. I think they do a decent job of hiding it. That being said, I wouldn't say the makeup work on him is great looking. It's just very good at covering up his appearance of the fact that he's, Adrien Brody. But yeah, it's just, the detecting stuff in this it's just non-existent. And he really doesn't do anything as a detective. Like, what does he do in this movie besides happen to stumble upon the killer when he's in that chick's house, and then he goes and he gets his gun, and then he chases them, and then he, the girl's screaming out, no, like, he knows the location of my sister, and then he just lets him fall to his death, and she's like, you piece of shit, you monster, you fucking promised me you'd give me back, whatever, and then he walks off, and boom, and then some random dude, just in a happenstance kind of way, finds this chick in the trunk. I mean, we don't see that happen, but it's very much implied that happens, much like the ending. Well, I don't want to say that. Never mind. That might be a spoiler for that movie, but reminds me of another movie. But yeah, it's just like there's some random guard. Like, he left her in a trunk of a car in a public place with 1,000 other cars that 1,000 other people would walk past, and all she has to do, like, she like barely moans, and the guy's like, huh? It's like not soundproofed almost at all. Like, it's basically like she's just sitting outside right in the middle of the fucking parking structure and screaming out, and the guy's like, huh? Oh, I heard a moan. Like, why would he put her there? Like, I know he was trying to make the exchange with the rich sister, right? He was like, give me my money. He finds out that she has money, whatever. But to keep her in a trunk like that? Like, this guy a moron? Like, she's so obviously going to be found. Like, if you heard screaming and moaning and kicking coming from a trunk, would you not call the police immediately and not leave that fucking car for any reason? Like, this is so stupid. This is so stupid, but this whole fucking movie's stupid. Like, Adrian Brody just fucking out of nowhere starts telling this girl that he barely knows that his mother was murdered by this butcher, and then like 5 years later he went back and he murdered this guy and keeps the knife as a reminder of why he's a cop. He fucking, like, he did a revenge killing. Pretty sure that's pretty illegal. I don't know what the laws are in fucking Romania, but I'm pretty sure you can't go murder somebody. Now, I'm not saying if someone kills your mom that you shouldn't go back and kill them. That's your own right. Vengeance is your thing. Hey, it's up to you. That's probably not what some of you believe, and that's okay. We all have different beliefs. But you killed my loved one, I'm coming for your ass, for sure. So, but regardless, like, he tells this chick his deepest, darkest secret just right there in the moment. Like, yeah, I went back and we wrestled and I fucking killed him. Like, he went back in there to kill him. Now, whether or not he told the cops and it was self-defense or whatever, like, he just outright just, like, gives her this information when there's, like, they barely even fucking know each other. Like, this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. Somebody killed my mom and I went back and murdered him. This is not something you tell, like, a woman who you're trying to find her sister. This is... and that's, like, the only moment of, like, character development in the entire film, and it's, like, a 2-minute scene. And then we see the flashback, or, like, they're investigating the clues of why Giallo is the way that he is. And who cares? Who fucking cares? Prostitute mom gives him up or some shit. Who cares? It's so boring. It's so lame. There's nothing about this film is likable. There's nothing about this film that's even remotely likable. It is generic. It is completely uninspired. There's no style. The story is fucking lame. Like, I don't know, man. This is at the end of Argento's career, where I guess he's just, phoning it in, like, oh, I need money, so I'll write this pathetic script and I'll shoot it in the most uninteresting way with zero bit of my style. But by this point, he'd already made a few duds that had no style to them. So, yeah, Giallo. What a piece of shit. What a yellow piece of shit. Oh, well. I have anything else I wanted to say about this? I don't think so. But, yeah. I kind of like that the girl in the movie, like, was age appropriate. She's not, like, 20. She's older. She's in her 40s. And, she's not looking as good as, a girl would typically be. Like, the dude would typically be, like, 40 or 50. And the girl would be, like, 20. and there'd be like some kind of love interest. So I liked that about it. I liked that she looked age appropriate for a love interest potentially, but they barely even explored anything like that. She like asks him to stay. She's like, I don't want to be alone tonight, not tonight. And he's like, just lock the doors, and he just fucking bails on her. Like, this guy does nothing in the film. Nothing. He won't even fuck the main girl in the movie. Like, he had one job. It's like, we got you a love interest, dude. Bang her. And he's like, nah. It's like, all right, well, fine. Be a detective and go hunt the guy down. Maybe I'll look for some clues. Like, I love the scene where the Japanese girl is like, oh, he's yellow, right? And so they get that information from this dude at like a fish market or something. And then the guy's like, I don't know, it doesn't make sense. She keeps saying like yellow, this and that. And it like takes all the biggest break in the case. The biggest break in the case does not come from the detective. It comes from the girl. The girl that's with him, the sister. And she's like, well, maybe his skin is yellow. And he's like, ooh. And they go and talk to this doctor, and the doctor's like, oh, yeah. And like, he's like, oh, what? She's like, what's that skin thing that the kids have when they're born and this and that? And the doc, like, who the fuck doesn't know that's jaundice? Who the fuck doesn't know that's jaundice? Like, I mean, I'm a father, and my kids had jaundice, like every fucking kid basically does. But yeah, it's like, the detective's like, oh, like, what would make his skin yellow? Fucking liver disease, bro. Liver, like, everybody knows this shit. You're a fucking detective, and you don't know that, like, yellow skin deals with the liver. Really? Like, what good are you in this fucking movie? It's ridiculous, and his performance is dreadful. This fucking movie is terrible. This movie is fucking terrible. It's a bore. It's a slog to get through. The script is shit. The acting is trash. Actually, I like him as the killer. I think it's entertaining. It's over the top. I like his performance as Giallo, but his performance as this that's not him. His performance as this fucking dude. What was his name in the movie? Isn't that funny how our voices always go up so much? That's how we always know that it's in a form of a question, is that our voices get real, like, kind of like high pitched, like, oh, what's his name in this? What's his name? I don't see it on here. Whatever, I don't give a fuck. So yeah, this is shit. God, I'll never watch this thing again, but hey, I own it. And I gotta put it in the collection. I'm pretty sure I own every one of his movies. Anyways, let's move on. I gotta knock out 2 more Argento things tonight, so let's do this.